Okay, shalom. You know something? I didn't change my I didn't change the title. Rav Moshe Halbershtam Zatzal. I went through a little bit of a transformation on this particular shir. I originally was going to do a piece from the Shilas and Chuvas Chelkat Yaakov, which is by Rav Yaakov Breish. As I was going through the topic, I realized that he's taking a direction that brings in a whole new area of halacha, of shlichus, very far away from Mishloach Manot, as opposed to Rav Moshe Halbershtam, who in his Shilas and Shuvas gives a direction which gets to one of the core disputes about Mishloach Manos. So what I would like to do is first talk about our particular shaila, two poskim that deal with it directly, and afterwards Rav Moshe Halberstam's suggestion for an analysis of what the question is based on, and then I'll mention some other examples of this particular machlokas. Now, here we are. The shaila is Mishloach Manot that are sent before Purim, that arrives on Purim. Just parenthetically, I was going back and forth. Should this be that arrive on Purim and that arrives on Purim? So Mishloach is singular. Manot is plural. So I think we would say it's a Mishloach of Manot, and then it arrives, and then it would be singular. That was my calculation. That's why I said arrives. For all those who are into editing, that was behind that line. Now, this is not an uncommon situation. There is a thing nowadays. It's probably relatively common to be able to set up Mishloach Manos international, where somebody's going to be able to you'll order ahead, and somebody will deliver Mishloach Manos on Purim day. I think there's some kind of services like that. It is not a new shaila. It was asked years and years and years ago. It appears in the Be'er Heitev commentary in the Shulchan Aruch, quoting a sefer Yad Aron. Here's that sefer Yad Aron, Rav Aron ben Rav Moshe Al-Fandari. And you see on the bottom, by the way, it was the Sultan Mahmud Yarum Hodo, and it was printed at Izmir. Here's what he said. Now we're seeing it in the original. It took a while for me to dig this up. Nistapakti, I'm in doubt. Mi sheshalach lachavero shememedinat hayam. He sent to his friend who lives overseas shnei manot, o shnei matanot l'shnei avyonim, kodem Purim. He sent either Mishloach Manos or Matanos L'Avyonim before Purim. Uva Purim atzmo b'vadai magim liyado. And they'll definitely reach the person's hand on Purim. So the question is, will that person fulfill his mitzvah or not? Will he fulfill it? Will fulfill the obligation or not? And he asked the question in the following way. At the time that he sent, he wasn't obligated. And therefore he won't fulfill his obligation. Oh, Dilmore, perhaps. Kevan de Bepurim atzmo, shehu shasa chiyuv Purim itself, which is the time of the obligation, Higiu liado. So it does reach in the person's hands. Nafik, then he does fulfill his obligations. Now, when we divra Rab Balamor, now proofs. When we divra Rab Balamor, Zal the Balamor nire the Yatzei de Chovasav. It sounds from the Balamor that he does fulfill his obligation. Why? Shekasav, he wrote the following: Shelo yitain lahem matanos kodem Purim, that matanos shouldn't be given before Purim, but he doesn't say because you're not going to fulfill your obligation. He says differently. Dilma achli lahu kodem Purim. Maybe he'll eat them before Purim, and then they won't be around on Purim. Ad kan lashona. That's the end of what he says. Mashma ha yadinan bevadai de'achli lahu bePurim. If we know for certain that he's going to eat them on Purim, you'll say techovaso afilu kishen nasa lahem lo haya ben shas achiyuv. Even if when they were given, it was not the time of the obligation. Be'atam, and he gives a reason. The simcha biyomo ba'inan. Joy on the day of Purim is what's required. V'hu adinami b'ninon dinan. The same is true in our case. Kevan she'yigia li'ado b'shas chiyuva, because it reaches the receiver at the time of the chiyuv. U'mesameach ben b'Purim, and he's happy on Purim. V'aday yotzei yedei chovaso. Kach nirali, definitely fulfills his obligation. The Yad Aaron, quoted in the Ber Heitev, who says that somebody who sends before Purim and they are definitely received on Purim, fulfills his obligation. The Aruch HaShulchan, or Yechiel Michel Epstein, has a picture of him. He's the father of Rav Baruch Epstein, the author of the Torah T'mima. In this volume, it's the third volume of Orach Chaim. So he writes as follows: V'li nira de lo yatsa. Seems to me that he doesn't fulfill his obligation. Debayinan Mishloach Manot bePurim atzmo. You need Mishloach Manot on Purim. You need to do the Mishloach on Purim. Ve'od. Furthermore, Daha Ikar Mishloach Manot Habi Mishim Simcha. The main Mishloach Manot is Simcha. Be'ezu Simcha ilo. What joy is it? Ata now Masha Shalach Mikonim, that he's sending before. Vim Shalach Mini Basar V'nimtzu Achar Kach Treifa Bevadai Lo Yatsa. If you send meat and it ends up later on being a treifa, let's say you shecht, send a present, and then you go check the animal, and it turns out the animal's in a treifa. Again, you got to send a message right away. Vadai lo yatsa. V'chein b'shalech maos o chayfetz o afilu meni oklim she'enom roim lachila. If you send money or an object or something that's not fit for eating, as it is, kamo shehem, kamo basar chai. Let's say raw meat, lo yatsa. V'raisi misha mistapik bedag uveitza shebe'alav I ezu shtei manos kamo b'yeruvi tafshil. That's another topic. Now, so the Aruch HaShulchan is clear that you don't fulfill your obligation, and he says two things. Number one, you have to do the Mishloach on Purim. Number two, there's no simcha on Purim. There's no simcha, excuse me. Is a simcha yilo ata masha shalach mikodem. The person who is sending it, so on Purim himself, he just knows that he sent earlier. Now, Moshe Halbershtam, so you see he's contemporary. We have a color picture of him. He passed away in 2006. I asked him a shaila at least once, maybe twice. He was one of the people that went to for shailas. There's a biography of him. I just thought it was interesting. There's two biographies of him that I found that were a little more extensive. One was in something called Adeya Ve'adibur, which was an online Haredi newspaper. I don't know exactly if it's connected. One of the one of the newspapers. I'll just read a little bit. A pallor of morning descended on Haredi Jew with the news of the sudden histalkus of Rav Moshe Halbershtam, a member of the Eidah Haredis Beistin and Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivas Chachava. One of the great Torah figures of our generation. He passed away last Wednesday afternoon, 26th of Nisan, at age 74. An enormous crowd, including Moran Rav Yashiv, Shlita, Rashi Yeshivas, Rabbanim, Dayanim, and Admorim, accompanied the Aaron from his home in Mea Sharim via Zupnik Square to Har HaZeisim. Moshe Halbershtam was born on the 8th of Nisan, 5692, that's 1932, in the town of Chakova, Galicia, to Rav Yaakov Halbershtam, the Av Beisin of Chakova. He was the great-great-great-grandson of the Divrei Chaim of Tzadz, and the great-great-grandson of Rav Baruch of Gorlitz. That's one of the sons of Rav Chaim of Tzadz. He moved to Eretz Yisrael with his father at the age of 3, a few years before the war broke out in Europe. As a child, he was tutored and edified, not sure what they mean by that, by the Admor Arav MC Moshe Chaim, I don't know, of Slonim, and later studied Yeshiva Beis Avram Slonim under the Nesiva Shalom, the famous Nesiva Shalom of Slonim, together with the Admor Abba of Rav Naftali Tzvi, and Yibad L'Chaim Tov and Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter, who had very close ties with him. Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter is from the old Yerushalmi Breslov community. Later he went to Bnei Brak to study at the Yeshiva Rav Shmuel Levi Vosner, forming close bonds with him. On Shabbos, he would daven with Chazon Ish, who often honored him with an aliyah, saying he was destined for godless and Torah. He also had a special bond with the Chabina Rav. For years, they had regular time set aside to discuss halachic matters. He was also close to the Admor Rav Aaron of Belz, who gave him the honor of reciting Birkas HaMazon while he was still a bacher. He was close to his grandfather, the Admor of Shatz, who offered him guidance after he lost his mother and later willed him the menorah he used on Hanukkah. In 5712, he married the daughter of Harav Hillel Schlesinger in Yerushalayim. Together they built a home of Torah and Chesed that was open day and night to anyone with halachic questions. Meanwhile, he kept learning with tremendous shkeda. He received smicha from Reb Pinchas Epstein Zatzal, and I think it was the Dayan of the Erech HaRedis, and in 5727 was admitted as a Moreh Hara of the Erech HaRedis. In 5757, he was appointed a member of the Badatz while continuing to serve as a Marbitz Torah in various fields. Rav Halbershtam published a collection of responsa called Divrei Moshe. We'll be reading from that. And just 2 days before his Patira, he discussed with his grandson plans to publish his book on Yerodea, examining the manuscript, making a number of corrections, engaging his grandson in Pilpul on several halachic points. Numerous people would come to his home in nearby Beis Torah, including many doctors and others with halachic questions related to medicine. Healthcare professionals were often astounded by his profound understanding of medical matters. He treated every Jew with great respect and made special efforts to gladden people by attending their simchas despite his full schedules. He carefully adhered to the finest details of halacha, never consenting to compromise or stray in the least from the Shulchan Aruch. Prominent halachic authorities relied on his reading and rulings, and he was known for his close ties with Gedolei Yisrael, Gedolei Aposkim. He used to be a neighbor of Yibad L'Chaim Tov and Rav El Yashiv Shlita, Zatzal, maintaining a friendship and regularly conversing with Maran ever since then. When his first grandson reached the age of bar mitzvah, Rav Halbershtam took him to Bnei Brak to ask for a bracha from Maran Rav Shach Zatzal, with whom he delved into Divrei Torah at length. Rav Halbershtam worked to promote various tzedakah and chesed organizations, including 4 decades at the head of Rav Meir Balanés Foundation, dedicating hours of his time to help the poor of Eretz Yisrael. He also served as the Nasi of Atzala Yisrael, constantly guiding the doctors of the organization in halachic matters. Just a few weeks ago, he worked with Rav Neuvert, author of Shmir Shabbat Gilchatat, to clarify a series of questions halach Atzala volunteers often face on Shabbos. Rav Halbershtam also served as a spiritual authority at Bikur Cholim Hospital, standing by the hospital during hard times. He would take part in various hospital events, provide staff physicians with an attentive ear. Professor Shmuel Gottlieb, director of the intensive care unit, and Rav Halbershtam's personal physician, was one of the last people to speak with him before his patir at 8 in the morning. Now, this is an interesting thing. This is an article. The second article is from Arutz Sheva, which is a religious Zionist organization and a newspaper, and they write about his special connections with Rabbanim in the Dati Leumi community. He talks about an organization, Machon Puah, which deals with halachic issues connected with fertility and birth, and their relationship with him. We'll just read a little bit. Rav Menachem Bernstein, Rosh Machon Pua Amar, he says, Ki domeh she'in dayan chasidi mi'ador ha'tzayir mimenu shelo ya kashur elav. It seems like there's no Hasidic dayan of the young generation who was not connected with him, v'shelo kibel mimenu didn't get chizik from him. Mechabrei Sfarim Rabim bikshu mimenu haskama l'sifram. He gave haskamas of many different Sfarim. Achen haskamotav me'atrot alfei Sfarim, thousands of books. Gam shel mechabrim mi'atzibur adati lumi, even from the dati lumi world. He was one of the people who was. They right here about his connection with medical halacha. Oops. So Rab Bornstein writes, "Akesher benenu echel lifnei 15 shana, 15 years ago, Rav Eliyahu, Rav Mordechai Eliyahu, shehu mora derech ha'ikari shel hamachon, who was the main posek of the Machon Pua, amar li shehamachon tzarich liot patuch u'mekubal al kol hazramim." He told me that I should make sure that the Machon is open and well received and acceptable by all the different streams of Torah Judaism. Tiyalti ben Gedolei Torah. I traveled among the different Gedolei Torah. Vadakti lemi mehem ani mitchaber, and I was seeing who did I have connections with. I don't know. Good question. Yeah, good question. I don't know. Interesting question. Kabbalat panim shel Rav Halbershtam hayta miyuchedet meod bechama. He gave me a very especially warm welcome. Unatan lanu et hatchusha she'akesher chashuv lo, and he gave us the impression that the connection was important to him. Kesher itchazek od yoter lachar ptirat Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, after Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach passed away, so the kesher was more intense. Anyways, that's it. This is interesting material. In his connection with doctors, etc. Now, here's the book was published right around the fourth printing of the book was published right after he passed away. So they have what it says on the Matzeva. Okay, now, what does Rav Halbershtam do? He connects this particular question of, are you Yotze Mishloach Manos when you send it before Purim and it arrives on Purim, like the Yad Aron says, or are you not Yotze, like the Aruch HaShulchan says? He connects it with a fundamental machlokas about Mishloach Manos, which is usually attributed to the following two early poskim. The Trumas Hadeshin was Rabbi Yisrael Isserlein. He lived in the generation right before Rabbi Yosef Karo, and his many of the Piskei Halacha, I don't know, maybe all of them, find their way into Halacha L'Maisa. He's known as one of them that the first half of the Sefer is shilas that he made up. Not misrepresenting, just creating cases, and the second half is shilas that came to him. Anyways, in Shaila 111, Bnei Adam Shochim lechaverem b'Purim chalukim v'sadinim v'chiyai gavne yotzim midei mishloach manot lo. If you send to your friend a presents like clothing or fabrics, a sheet, a coat, are you yotze? Shuva, you don't fulfill the mitzvah. Why? The nearer time the Mishloach Manosu kedei she'elecholecha dai v'safek in the sense of maspik, that everybody should have enough and sufficient l'kaim asuda kedina to have the sudas Purim properly. Kimashma Megamar, it sounds like that in the Gemara Parakama, in the first parak of Megillah. Abaye bar Ravin, Rav Chanina bar Ravin, havu machlafei sudasai va'adari. They would switch meals. V'nafki b'hachi mishloach manos, and they would thereby be yotze mishloach manos. Alma the time of mishum sudei. So you see that the reason for mishloach manos is the sudas Purim. Vesunera, and so furthermore, it seems the lo ashkachan b'shum makom demikre manos elamida demechle. The word manos means food. We don't find anywhere that manos, that expression, means something other than food. Michle or mishlev, a food or drink. V'chein diktek Rambam milashon. The Rambam was very particular about that. Shekasav chayav lishloch shtei manos shel basar or shtei minei tavshel or shtei minei ochlim. The Rambam is very clear. Meat. Cooked meals, different types of food. V'nira d'shtia b'chlal achia, and it seems that drinking is also included here. Umatanos labyonim kasav maos omini machalim. When it came to matanos labyonim, so he said it could be money or it could be food. Alma degabe mishloach manos over dafka made in the main place. So by mishloach manos, it seems like the Rambam holds that it has to be food. So that's the shitas hatrumas hadeshen, that you're not yotze unless it's food, and he gives you a reason. The reason for mishloach manos is to make sure everybody has a sudas purim. Some people add in the trumas hadeshen, I saw that the real reason is that everybody should, or I heard from Halbershtam, sorry, that the real reason behind mishloach manos is that everybody should have a sudas purim, and everybody gives these presents, and thereby, even those who are less fortunate, even those who are unprepared, everybody will end up having a sudas purim. And here's Rav Halbershtam's comment. The main thing is they were mitaking that people should send on Purim. The main thing is because of the receiver gaining. Shielo l'tzorach hasuda, he should have what he needs for his meal. Barei zet talui b'hamakabel, and this is going to be all dependent on the receiver. Ulefize yesh makom lamar dehechad hamakabel eno bar chiyuva b'mitzvahs Purim. If the receiver is not somebody who is obligated in Purim, in kein lo kiyem ha'mishaleach mitzvahs mishloach manos, the sender is not going to fulfill his mitzvah of mishloach manos. Kigon ben yudalid. If a 14 person is going to send mishloach manos to a person who's a 15 person, a ben krach. I'll give you an example. We're going to have, God willing, people that are Yerushalmim at our Purim Suda. So let's say I give one of them mishloach manos. So they're getting the mishloach manos on the 14th. But they're not obligated on the 14th. They're obligated on the 15th. So, and if you're going to say that mishloach manos is a receiver-oriented mitzvah, so then it should follow that the day that's relevant is the receiver's day. On the other hand, if somebody would send before Purim, and it would reach the receiver on Purim, even though when he sent it, it wasn't Purim yet, because the receiver received it on Purim, he would be yotze his obligation very nicely. The basar makabel aslinan, because we're going to follow the makabel. In other words, if mishloach manos is, like the Trumas Hadeshen says, a goal-oriented mitzvah to make sure that people get sudas Purim, so the focus is going to be on the receiver, receiving his sudas Purim. Mishloach manos Yisrael. Now, the Manos HaLevi is Rav Shlomo Alkabetz. Shlomo Alkabetz was the author, is most well known as the author of L'cha Dodi, which is a unique song, probably of songs after a liturgy, post Chazal liturgy. It's rare that you have something that all of Klal Yisrael sings. So L'cha Dodi is one of them. Adon Olam is probably one of them. So Shlomo Alkabetz also wrote a long parish on Megillah, and the tradition has it. I wanted to check it out. Somebody, I had heard it was in the introduction, and then I didn't check. I was going to recheck the introduction, so my apologies. that he gave it on Purim as Mishloach Manos HaLevi. It was the Manos, Mishloach Manos of the Levi. He was a Levi. I'm almost sure that I read that in the introduction once. Now, but on the pasuk about Mishloach Manot, he writes as follows, and he's quoted by the Chasam Sofer. ולזו הסיבה היהודים הפרזים הנמשכים אחר בני המדינות, וכן היושבים בערי הפרזות בפרוז בן יומו, okay, עושים י"ד שמחה ומשתה ויום טוב, ומשלוח מנות ישראל, and here's the key pasuk. כמו שהיה עניינם כאיש אחד להיקהל כל אחד עם חברו, just like they all gathered together, everyone with his friend. Hefech ish tsar v'oyev l'shon remiyah ha'omer am echad mefuzar. It was the exact opposite of Haman, that enemy who was besmirching the Jews and calling them a scattered nation. So we, on the contrary, through Mishloach Manot Ish L'Re'ehu, we unite with each other. So says Rav Moshe Halbershtam, Amnam b'Sefer Manos Alevi l'Rav Shlomo Alka Betzal Zechroni Agenu Kasav, and Behuvad Dvar B'Tshuvas Chasam Sofer. Chasam Sofer brings it. The time in the mitzvahs Rabbanan the Mishloach Manos u'laharbos hareyos. The goal of Mishloach Manot is to increase friendship. Not Sudas Purim, to increase friendship. Hefech kavanas Haman she'amar am mefuzar muforan. The opposite of Haman's intention, which was to deride the Jewish people as a scattered and a separated nation. It ends up that the main part of the mitzvah is the giving, which is initiating something which is going to create a friendship. So that's going to focus on the giver. Going back to our Purim Suda, if we were to give Mishloach Manot on the 14th to a Ben Tesvav, to people from Yerushalayim, Shaper Yotzi, you fulfill your obligation. Avalim Shalach Lifnei Purim. On the other hand, if you were to give before Purim, Lo Mani, it wouldn't work. Even though it's going to reach it on Purim, you're going to go by the sender. And so he has to send it at a time when he's obligated. Maybe you could say the opposite, that as long as it reaches the receiver on Purim, he's yotzei. Because only now is the sending completed. And you could theoretically have said that it was the givers up till the moment before he gives it, and then on Purim himself, the transfer is done. Okay, that's a suggestion. Now, the Aruch HaShulchan, the Aruch HaShulchan we read already, that Mishloach Manot is because of Simcha, and he said, what Simcha is there in giving? L'chor etzorchian bevir dvarav. De'iz Simcha shaykh b'sholeach ha'manos. Bishlama gabi ha'makabel, shaykh lomar shu samech b'kabbalas ha'mishloach, aval b'sholeach es ha'mishloach Manot, my Simcha shaykh habei. That was what the Aruch HaShulchan said. What Simcha is there in the giving? I saw that others were disturbed by what he said. There's joy in giving a present. When the other friend is receiving from him. There's joy in the fact that somebody else is receiving my present. That somebody gives a present to his friend, it's considered benefit for the giver, and so it follows. Let's say there was somebody extremely distinguished, and the ability to give that person a present itself would be considered something that itself was considered a benefit. Like to be able to say that,
yeah, I brought him, Prince Edward is, sorry, I don't know anything about the royal family. They'll have the Belzer Rebbe is using my Besami box that I gave him. So the fact that he received the gift itself is something that the giver gets. And where do Chazal bring this up? That a woman who gives a present to a great person, and he says, Mikudeshes li, by virtue of the fact that I'm receiving this present, so that is considered, even though she's giving, and usually Kedushin doesn't work that way, but she's really receiving his acceptance. So the same thing applies to Mishloach Manot. Hachinami hacha. The same is true here. Afilu b'sholech leinish b'almim. And if you said to stun a person, v'kasher kvar bir, not only like on in Kiddushin, but anytime you give to somebody, kasher kvar bir came Aruch b'tuv tam b'sefer Tshuvas Kanaf Ranana. That Sefer Shalos and Tshuvas explain this. Ve'alat Mishloach Manot yesh simcha gam l'sholech zamanoach. That's a manos. There's joy even to the giver. Vein chiluk bein bazeh bein sholech ladam chashuv or the staminish balm. It doesn't make a difference if you're giving to some important person or a normal person. Fiza asi shaper might come letzadet delo yoel b'shaleach lifnei Purim deboina nami hanasa m'shaleach. And now we understand what it means that you're not yotzei if you send it before Purim. Why? Because the joy of giving is necessary as part of the Mishloach Manot. Now, Rav Hirschfeld wanted to develop, based on a sefer that he read by Rav Jungreis, that perhaps the mitzvah Mishloach Manot requires the combination of the Sholech and the Makabel. Meaning it's not like the Chakir of Rav Halbershtam here is the focus on the giver or is on the focus on the Makabel. Trumas Hadeshen, the focus seems to be on the Makabel. And according to the Manos HaLevi, the focus seems to be on the giver. But rather, perhaps the focus is on the combination of giver and receiver. You'll hear Rav Hirschfeld's shir is available in the mailing that Chappelle sent out from the Yom Yun on Purim. I didn't hear the shir, but he told over what he was saying. Just want to point out that there are other nafkaminas of this machlokas. There's other manifestations of the dispute between the Trumas Hadeshen, who says that the mitzvah of Mishloach Manot is to make sure everybody has a Sudas Purim, and the Manos HaLevi, who says that the Mishloach Manot is the mitzvah of Mishloach Manot is to encourage Ava Vareus, connectedness and friendship amongst people. So there's a couple nafkaminas. The Sefer Piskei Tshuva says you can probably count about 20 nafkaminas. Just a few of them. What about giving anonymously? So certainly the receiver has his Sudas Purim, but is there Ava Vareus? Is there some friendship that is developed here? Isn't that just, again, a person might be generally happy that somebody loves him, somebody's giving me a present. But the simple thing would be that in order to get the Ava Vareus, it would have to be, anosin, like we said last week, anosin matana l'chaveru tzarich lo-odiyah. If you're going to give a present, you have to tell him who it is that was given, because the whole point is creating the connectedness. What about, and this comes up in the Ramah. The Ramah says you're yotzei if you give Mishloach Manot to somebody, but the person doesn't want to take it. Let's say you give Mishloach Manot to an elderly couple. And they say, no, that's fine. No, we how much do we eat anyways? Whatever. So the Ramah says you're still yotzei. That seems to be saying that we focus on the Nesina, and perhaps also the Ava Vareus approach, like the Manos HaLevi.
our case we brought. And then, of course, non-food items is the main, that's the main machlokas. That's, if you will, it certainly increases Ava Bereus. On the other end, it's not connected with the Sudas Purim. Okay, that's what I wanted to share with you today. The two approaches to Mishloach Manot that arrive on Purim. The Divrei Moshe or Moshe Halbershtam connects it with the core machlokas about Mishloach Manot is the time behind Mishloach Manot to make sure everybody has a Sudas Purim, like the Trumas Hadeshin says, or is the time behind Mishloach Manot in order to increase Ava V'Reus and unitedness, unity amongst the people of Israel, like Rav Shlomo Alkabetz, the Manos HaLevi says, and those are just a few of them of the nafkaminas. Okay, that's what I wanted to share with you today.